All right, welcome back to the Doug Karns program here on All Noise Radio. 267-495-4866 is my voicemail line, or you can email me at dougkarnsprogram@gmail.com. So, we were talking about Herman Cain and his alleged sexual harassments, which I don't think have ever occurred. He came out on Tuesday and gave a press conference, and this is what it sounded like.
Secondly, I didn't recognize the name at all. The time that she referenced was during the time that I was the CEO and president of the National Restaurant Association. It's headquartered in Washington, D.C., where about 150 workers work. And we have about 150 people in Chicago, where she said she worked for our educational foundation. I tried to remember if I recognized her, and I didn't. I tried to remember if I remembered that.
Okay, so this kind of goes back again, like we were saying. So the Chicago host said it looked like he recognized her at the TCON rally, but it goes back to, hey, you.
Hey,
like
you.
when she recognizes him and runs up to him. So if you start hearing the news or the media accuse him of lying at this point, then just take that in effect. That's all I'm asking is, because I honestly do not think Herman Cain, I could be wrong.
I mean, you never know.
You
Look
never
at
know.
Jerry Sandusky.
Exactly.
You just never know.
Exactly, which we'll definitely stick around for the fourth segment because we'll talk a little bit about the Penn State situation. But it's exactly right, Joe. With Sandusky, you just don't know.
It's a shame.
I mean, that guy was part of Penn State for years.
Oh, yeah.
And who knew he was going to turn out to be a child pedophile? So anything can happen. But if you look at the two different press conferences, one with Sharon Bialek, whatever her last name is.
Yeah, just Sharon.
Sharon, yeah. We'll just call her Sharon. Our best friend Sharon.
Yeah.
She's reading from a statement that she's stumbling upon, and she can't figure out, the story pretty much. And then Cain is going off from what he knows. Like, he's not reading a statement. He's talking to the press, like, one-on-one, and it's coming from his head. It's not coming from a piece of paper that he's just sitting there reading.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, all right, let's play a little bit more here.
Name, and I didn't. The charges and the accusations I absolutely reject. They simply didn't happen. They simply did not happen.
Okay, so he swears that they didn't happen. So we'll take him for his word.
Yeah.
But Herman Cain needs to know that if it turns out to be a lie, that
he's done.
He's lost all credibility.
It's down the drain.
Like, I would never vote for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember all the people who said, "Oh, I voted for Bill Clinton. Or I would vote for him again, even though he lied." and after the whole Monica Lewinsky thing, like, why? Like, I want somebody with good character. In office.
You want morality. That you want somebody that's knows the right way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Not some sneaky, somebody's gonna. Well, I really don't believe what she's saying, but you don't want somebody that even thinks that way, let alone like.
I want the person in office to do the right thing.
Do the right thing. That's it.
Whether it hurts him or the country. Really, I mean, the right thing is to, like, Joe, I know you're the same way with me on this when it comes to the economy, is get the government out of the way.
Yes.
But to do that first, you got to shrink government, which is going to hurt a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if have you ever heard my tax plan?
No.
Okay, so let me fill you in here. I know some of you listeners out there have heard it, but here's my theory. I think it would work. It would take a lot of legislation and a lot of time, but it took us 100 years to get here. It's going to take us 100 years to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But our founders always saw it as local government should be the strongest.
Yes.
And then state should be the second strongest, and then federal should be the weakest part of the government. So now to get back to that, because right now we have a very bloated federal government.
Yeah.
They pretty
To say
much,
the least.
Yeah, I mean, just the IRS alone is a huge government in itself. But how about we reverse the tax code? Say in Abington, I pay 1% tax, right? So Abington only takes 1% of my income, when the federal government's taking, I think, 8%, 9%. I don't know. I can't remember the exact percentage, but let's reverse that. How about we give more money to our local government, give the same to the state, because they're still in the middle, and then give less to the federal government, where all they take that money for is printing money and keeping us safe.
Okay.
Right? And basic projects here where a certain part of the country needs help because they're having a drought or something like that. Use that money for a rainy day. So use that local money to have their own social programs. So say in Abington, I live in Abington. We want to help the people who can't fend for themselves, like mental disabilities or physically disabled people. We'll have a social program just within Abington, because if you bring in, I figured this out. I can't remember the numbers I actually did it on the show. But imagine if Abington brought in 15% from everybody. We have 40,000 people in Abington. It came out to in the billions, money wise.
Yeah.
We can use that money just to help ourselves. Horsham can help themselves. Now where the issue comes in is like Philadelphia. But you have a lot of high income people in Philadelphia. You also have a lot of low income people. But if everybody was paying just to take care of each other, you know what I mean? And you would put the emotion back into it.
Well, the only thing I would question about that plan is who would you put in charge of all that money? Would you really trust?
Well, that's the thing.
The local government.
But the thing is, do you trust the federal government?
I don't trust any government, to tell you the truth.
Exactly. but who's the closest to you? The local government.
The local, yeah, but
so we have more say at the local government. You can go to. I can go to Abington Township right now. I can go to the building and put a grievance in. I can actually talk to the commissioner. I can talk to the council members. Can I go to President Obama right now? No.
Not directly, no.
Not directly, no. Can I go to... There's times where I can't even get I call my representative all the time. I call my senators. I can't get a hold of them. And they're my elected officials.
Yeah.
So it's so hard because they're so far away from the people. I'd rather trust the people within, in our community more than the people above it. Listen, you can have... me. You can talk me into having no social programs, no whatever. But I would like to see private charity take the bulk of that. But I'm just saying, for sake of argument, with people who want to help, you have to transition to it. Transition to private charity rather than social welfare from the government. So that's my plan. I at least it would transition it down to local.
Yeah. And
then each little township can at least start weeding out of it and start to pay. Because think of colonial times. The reason why freedom worked here is because we left Britain, came to a new world, and set up our own government. We were self-governed. We didn't have anybody telling us how to make our food, whatever. They just governed each other, and they took care of each other, and that's what we need to get back to.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
I definitely agree. I like your idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We
can
develop
it a little bit.
We can tinker it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I'm just saying it's better than the federal government taking.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look at the EAS program that's going to be happening. Or actually, it already happened today at 2 p.m. They took control of all broadcast media for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
From the president, from the White House, and you had no choice in it. See, all the other programs, you trip them by each station tripped them by themselves. So, but this time, the emergency alert system, the president trips everybody's. So the president seizes all media power. Now, This is for emergencies like 9/11.
Yeah.
Which, did we need it for 9/11?
No.
No, because you know why? All the media outlets were out there covering
Yeah.
it, informing people.
It's not always the government's job. It's
No.
we can take care of ourselves.
Exactly.
It's not the government's responsibility
Now-
to do all this.
Yeah, now, back in the day when there was just telegraphs, I can see having an EAS system where, hey, send this out to the telegraphers to get to the towns because nobody had TVs or radios. But now we have 24/7 media. We don't need this emergency alert system.
Well, yeah, they're going to put this idea forward to say, oh, it's better for communication purposes. But really, you got to kind of be a little critical of that.
Yeah, but what's scary is, and this is the paranoid conservative that I am, is what if these protesters are getting out of hand and like they're getting there's more civil unrest and they're getting more violent? What stops the president saying this is a emergency and we're cutting all media off?
Well, at that point, nothing.
Exactly, because they have the control from the White House.
Yeah.
Like they can do it whenever they want. So it's not, like I said, it's not a permission to. They don't go to Comcast or ABC, NBC, CBS. They don't go to all these entities and say, "Hey, could you please, give us some of this time for our?" No, they just take it, and it's in law. They can just take it whenever they want. So that's the scary part, is because what happens when we lose our media? Because the president, whether it's President Obama or President Kane or President Romney, who thinks, oh well, the country's going to go into hysteria if they watch all this media coverage of the violence in the streets or something. I mean, like,
well, see that idea of taking control of the media and just like what people watch and listen to, the left kind of came up with that, like with the fairness doctrine.
Yep.
They want to control what you listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
And they when you listen to it. And I just don't.
I mean, the left has come out many occasions saying they want state-ran TV and state-ran news, and there's a lot of people I talked to in my personal life that said, "Well, that'd be a good idea because the government will get out the news that you need to know, not this like corporate garbage that you get." Well, the news or the government can put out propaganda just as much as anybody else can, and I'd rather have the corporate garbage propaganda than, like, I'll defend MSNBC any day. I hate them.
Yeah,
but I'll defend
them. Let them say what they want.
Yeah, because
don't shut them down.
Obviously, Fox News is number one.
Yeah, for a reason.
Yeah,
because people gravitate more towards that.
Like, Fox News has more viewership than MSNBC, CNN, headline news put together.
Yeah.
So obviously, let them compete. I'll if anybody wants to shut down MSNBC, I will stand between you and MSNBC. They have the right to do what they want.
I can't stand Rachel Maddow, but I'll stand up
Hi,
for her.
I'm Rachel Maddow, and you're watching MSNBC. So, anyways, I would stand up for the right for MSNBC to exist, but that doesn't mean
you don't have to agree with them.
Exactly.
But
so
don't shut them down for
before we go to the break, I just want to say, just pay attention to what's going on with the EAS, because if they seize media control whenever they want, that's a scary thing, whether it's a Republican or Democrat in office. All right, we'll be right back after this.